Good day, my fellow data nerds. Do you know that Power BI is an AI powered platform in addition to the business intelligence tool? That is correct. AI is fundamentally about using algorithms and data to develop insights and make predictions. You may use the number of AI tools in Power BI to unlock these insights and improve your decision makings. And these features includes NLP, natural language processing, and it's one of the Power BI AI features which enables you to ask queries in everyday language and receive the immediate response based on your data. Q&A is the name of this feature, and using this is really simple. For instance, Power BI will produce a graph displaying the revenue of the most recent quarter in response to the sales manager question. What is our sales revenue last quarter? The another one we have is cognitive services. The cognitive services may use to evaluate the tone of social media posts using sentimental analysis. For example, a marketing manager may evaluate a sample of social media posting using Power BI text analytics cognitive services and produce a sentiment score for each post. It also has an ability to use machine learning code directly in your reports. And these are just a few AI features available in Power BI. Using these tools, you may swiftly evaluate a lot of data and discover the previously undiscovered insights. My name is Puneet Vijwani, and in this video, we'll utilize automatic machine learning model to create a predictive analytics based on the previously collected data. And you will see that you don't need to have an extensive data science abilities to quickly develop this machine learning model. For the illustration purposes, we're going to use Titanic dataset. And this model can be used to estimate which passengers will have high chance of surviving. You can also use the similar techniques to develop the model based on the historical data, customer demographics, and the other criteria. And it can also be used to forecast, for example, which products are likely to do well in upcoming quarter, after which an inventory and marketing plan can be adjusted. So if you want to stay ahead of the curve and make data-driven decisions, you will find this tool to be extremely helpful. So let's get started and see how Power BI helps to get most out of your data. Let's start by locating an example Titanic dataset for this session. To make it short, I already loaded this dataset, which provides the data of passengers on the Titanic ship, including whether they survived or not. I'm going to remove this column which I'm not interested in, and then I'm going to click on Save and Close. Now we have Titanic dataset in a way that the automated machine learning model can work with. And as a result, we can now further develop the machine learning model after setting up our data flow. So on setup panel, we're going to click on machine learning model and choose add ML model. Here in configuration panel, you can select the input of your table and then select the outcome, which is survived. I'm going to click next. You can see that the Power BI has chosen the algorithm already, which is binary prediction. You can choose the different model if you want to. But for this case, let's just trust Power BI. Now we can choose the target outcome which we are interested in, which is survival prediction, and we're gonna label it accordingly. Next, we'll choose the fields which model should study. And we see that the Power BI has chosen certain default values for us. And we can also see that the sum of the columns having low correlation with the outcome and also having too many distinct values. I'm just gonna choose default and click on next to name and train the model. So I'm gonna name my model and I'm gonna name as this Titanic passenger survival prediction. Depending the amount of the data and the complexity of the model, the training process could take some time. Here I will choose a short training time, which is 17 minutes, to go through this quickly. So now it started training the model and I'm gonna cut this video so we can skip the waiting time. Now we have created a predicted model. We can evaluate its performance using training reports and check metrics such as accuracy, precision, and recall. We can do so by clicking here. In the training report, you can see the model performance here and you can see the top predictors by influence here. If we can play a little bit around with the probability threshold, you can see the outcome on the true positive and the true negative matrix. Furthermore, if we scroll down, we can see our cost benefit analysis curve. And based on the unit cost 1 and the unit benefit of 2, we can see where exactly it's peaking at. and looks like in our case it's 0.64. If we go to the training details, we can check the data featureization and see that detected column type is correctly categorized or not. We can also check the accuracy of the report by checking the area under the curve, and it looks like it's 90% here. And let's just hope the Power BI predicted models are more accurate than the Titanic iceberg detection system. So after developing a predictive model, let's examine how to apply this to the analytics and use the data that is already there in the data flow. For demo purpose, I'm just gonna choose the probability threshold to 0.64 and where exactly our cost benefit analysis curve is at the highest. Now let's just click and apply the model. So I'm gonna apply this to the original data set. You can choose the different data if you want to. So now the new output column would be Titanic passenger survival prediction, and it's gonna be true or false based on the threshold that we choose. So the outcome would be based on the predictive score. If it's more than the probability threshold we have chosen, it's most likely to be true. Let's just click on save and apply. So I already loaded the table which is created by Power BI service, that is enriched, and the explanation table. This will provide some extra columns and some useful information. For example, the prediction score, which will tell us the likelihood of the survival. The outcome is a predicted outcome based on the threshold settings we have chosen. So if the probability is higher than the threshold, it's most likely to be survived. So for this data point, the 23 is less than the threshold, which is 64, then it's less likely to be survived. If we choose another data point, we can see it's greater than 64, then it's most likely to be survived. The explanation gives us the more detail about the predicted outcome and the contribution to the influence feature. Now let's observe them in action in Power BI and see some insights on top of it. As this is just a demo, I sliced these elements very quickly. So let's start by examining the survival rate by gender. This graph demonstrates that the women had a greater chance of survival than men, and understanding how the gender affects the passenger survival rate is a nice thing to have. The distribution of the traveler's age comes the next. The majority of the passengers shown in the histogram were there in 20s and 30s. And to determine whether the age has an impact on survival, we can additionally partition the data by the survival status. The survival rate by ticket class comes the next topic. The first class passenger has a significantly greater chance of survival than those in the second and the third class. And this can be shown by a donut chart here. The significance of the characteristics comes the next. The features that were crucial to the passenger survival can be identified using this, and this knowledge can be useful for determining the elements that enables the passenger to survive. In order to keep the viewer attention, we also can include the table visual predicting the specific passenger, which is Jack. And this is a pleasant method to spark conversation and motivates the viewer to read the report in more detail. The overall survival rate is the last thing we have. The GAW chart reveals that we have 25.48% of the passenger made it through the catastrophe. And that's not it. We also have the actual versus predicted. And this is a nice way to check whether the trends predicted by the model and the real data is in the same line or not, as this compares the actual survival rate to the prediction used by a machine learning model. So these are some general insights to how to use machine learning in Power BI. I guess this is just a demo, but in order to reduce risks, you might utilize your prediction to find high-risk clients, transactional churn in your datasets. And by spotting patterns and trends in the data, you can use to forecast and mark areas where you can enhance companies' insights are good. There are many options, and the more data you have, the more accurate your predictions will be. So this is a short summary how to leverage Power BI machine learning to improve business decision. And I sincerely hope you find this video to be useful. And if you had any question, don't be shy to ask them in comment section. Thank you.